Today I will be ranking every single NFL running back that was in the league last year. We don't have rookies yet because we don't know what team they're on, and also this rookie class doesn't really have a lot of guys that you may put towards the top. They're all going to be towards the bottom, so we're just going to leave them out of this list. Before we get into this video though, let me just remind you we are almost to 1,000 subs. Thank you guys for getting me this far, but also help me hit that 1,000 mark and I will do a jersey giveaway very, very soon. Also, check out w.gg for their energy drinks, their merch, whatever they got. Use code SHREDDER for 10% off your order of anything on the website w.gg. Also, check the link in the description, and let's get right into this video. So here are our tiers, starting off with elite. I don't need to explain that. Then we have very, very good, definite starter with a question mark, quality number 2, backup, and trash. So, you know, you kind of see how this goes. We're going to get right into it, no doubt about it. Starting off with Aaron Jones. For now, he's a tough one. I'm going to put him in very good. I don't think he's in that elite group of backs, but I think he is definitely very good. We'll leave him there. He might move later. I think he's going to stay in very good. Devon Achane, whatever you want to call him, I'll put him in starter with a question mark because he looks really, really good. Now, if you think he's going to keep up that, 11 yards per carry, get out of here. That's not happening. That's ridiculous. But he does look really good. I thought he was really going to be good coming out of the draft last year, and that proved to be right in the Mike McDonald Dolphins offense. McDaniel, I said McDonald, excuse me. Either way, yeah, I think he will be really good. Cam Akers, trash. Yeah, he has had too many chances and not really done anything. Saquon Barkley, he's tough at this point. His injuries make him really, really strange. I'm going to put him in very good. I just don't know if you can call him elite right now. He's been out a little bit. The offense in New York has not helped him at all, let's be real. The line has not really helped him much. He's had a lot of things working against him. I honestly hope he gets out of New York for those reasons, but he's got to be in very good for now. Bijan Robinson also didn't really get all the touches he should have. We saw a lot of good stuff. For now, I'm going to put him in definite starter. We haven't seen him be very good yet. We haven't seen that, he had like 1,000 total scrimmage yards, like 1,200, I think, total. But we haven't seen him be like, a league breaker or anything like that, like some of the other guys will be. I think he's a definite starter and easily will move up into very good next year. But right now, he's got to stay here. Nick Chubb, when healthy, he's elite. He's probably the best pure running back in the league. If you're just talking about a running back, what you need from a running back, that position, he's probably the best one you got. Yes, he got hurt last year. It's not like that's a lingering issue. We haven't seen it be, so I'm not going to count him against it. James Conner, to me, he's kind of in this like starter tier. He is really good. And honestly, he does a lot without a good line, so I'm kind of thinking of moving him up, but like, I just feel like he's not on the same level. He almost belongs in a mid-tier. We'll leave him here for now and maybe move him down later. James Cook. This is going to be a controversial one. He's an average-ish running back. He's not great. He's very solid. There's not a problem with him. But like, I don't know if you're really like super stoked that he's your number 1. I think he'd be a really good number 2. But he can do a one-like things. But if it wasn't for his pass catching, he wouldn't be even relevant right now. I mean, that's helped a ton. As a running back, he's just not that great. Oh, he gets 5 yards per carry. You don't watch Bills games. Yeah, it's because they run 4 times the game, and every other time they're worried about the pass. So they don't stop the run defense. Yeah, it just doesn't happen. They did try to run a lot towards the end of the season, and yeah, James Cook had a good game. Part of that, the offensive line, Osiris Torrance, they have a solid line. They aren't the best, but I think it's a lot of scheme stuff with him in Buffalo. Dalvin Cook at this point is a backup, if that. He might be trash. I'm not really sure. We didn't really see enough of him this year, so I'm going to put him as backup. Dylan. I'm going to say he's a quality number 2. I don't think he really is a starter. I don't think he'd really have success if he was put in a starting role. I think if he is a number 2, the yin to your yang, that would be really good. But right now, I just don't see him as a starter. J.K. Dobbins. Man, I wish this guy was a definite starter. He's talented enough to be. He just can't stay healthy. Because of dependability, he's going to quality number 2. Maybe this tier is fair in terms of talent and ability when he's healthy, but the dependability is just not there. Quality number 2. Gus Edwards, he's kind of a quality number 2 as well. Neither, You have J.K. Dobbins healthy, and then him. Okay, you're looking at something scary. But just him alone, he's really just a goal line back. There's not a ton to it. I mean, he's just a quality number 2. Austin Eckler at this point is probably a quality number 2 with his pass catching ability. He was terrible this year. I don't know if it was the O-line's fault, honestly. I really don't know. But it was bad. It was really, really, really bad. However, the pass catching upside does give him a little bit of beef. I'm going to put him at quality number 2. Breece Hall, very good. He has done very good for 2 different years now with not very much help. So I'm giving him that for sure. Breece Hall, he's a good player. Damian Williams, I believe this is. He's a backup, whatever. Darrell Henderson is probably he's like a backup, but very close to the back of that. Derrick Henry, at this point in his career, it's hard to gauge because, yes, he had a decent season last year. Yards per carry wasn't great. The first half of the season wasn't great. Yeah, I think it was partially the play calling and things with him. But you've also, this is a fantasy stat, and honestly, I don't like gauging real players by fantasy stats, but running back to the one position, you can kind of do that a little bit. There are still nuances, like Austin Eckler. Okay, the pass catching is going to really skew it. Either way, Derrick Henry, there has never been a running back finish as a top 12 back in fantasy ever over the age of 29. I don't think he did it last year. Maybe he did because of the last season stretch, but it took every bit of the last season stretch to get it done. And he's already 30. That's kind of scary. I think I still have to put him in very good. He's probably going to stay towards the back of this tier because of his age. That's a big factor here. Khalil Herbert, I think when he's healthy, he's probably like a questionable starter. He looks pretty good, but I think you can easily upgrade over him. But they have a decent line in Chicago. The line talk there because of Justin Fields is highly, highly overrated. I mean, it's not the best line, but it's decent. Braxton Jones is a serviceable left tackle. Darnell Wright was a stretch pick, and it was pretty rough, but he's a fine right tackle. But then the guards and the interior are not too bad. Whitehair is interchangeable, but Tevin Jenkins and what's his name? Wow, just blank. The other one, is it Davis? I don't know. Nate Davis? Cody Davis? Something, I don't know. They're not the worst line. The tackles are okay. The guards are solid. The center isn't, but they're not the worst line in the league. And so I think there's stuff to work with Herbert, but you're not like just elated that he's your number 1. Chuba Hubbard is in that. I think he's really a quality number 2. He's the top of quality number 2. He might be your starter for a little bit, and yes, he played well, and they don't really have much going for him in Carolina. But at the same time, I just don't think the upside is there with him. I think he really would fit best as a number 2. Kareem Hunt, he at this point is a quality number 2. He can be a starter in moments, but he is like the upside of number 2 as well. Javonte Williams is a questionable starter. I wish I could put him higher, but last year was just not pretty. Yes, part of that goes to the line, and there was a lot of issues in Denver outside of that. But right now, I just can't put him any higher. I'd definitely say he's like the closest to being a definite starter here, but we can't put him too much higher. Josh Jacobs is a very good back. He's not elite. He is not consistent enough to be elite. Just end of story. Then, wow, Jamal Williams. Took blank for a second. That's a creepy picture. He is a quality number 2. He's like your Gus Edwards, a goal line back. The stats are skewed for him. He's a good player. He's not a great player. Rashawn Johnson, at this point, he's a backup. I hope he grows out of that, but we just haven't seen enough of him. Kyron Williams, he's a... Wow, that one's tough. I think at this point, he is the... I think he can't be more than a definite starter. We've had one really, really good year from him this past year, and the year before was, you saw some things, but you weren't sold on him yet. We're now sold. He's a starter. He's like Bijan. You can only go up from here. Like, we're expecting you to go up to here very quickly, but we just got to continue seeing that. Kenneth Walker is also a definite starter. He's kind of in that, like, the Bijan role where I just feel like we've got to see a little bit more from him. Kyron Williams, they've been around for a minute, 2 years, I believe now, but you just got to see a little bit more. He's not in this, like, oh, man, they're kind of a problem next level. Which he could easily be within the next year or two. So with Bijan, same with Kyron. Alvin Kamara, at this point, he's a questionable starter. Not the best year from him as well. Was it partially the suspension and things? Maybe. But either way, just not great. Madison, one of the biggest disappointments of the year. He is we've seen him be a quality number 2. That's what it is. He was a great number 2 to Dalvin Cook, and it's just not there anymore. It is what it is. You can't really argue about it. McCaffrey, elite of elite. Like, he honestly deserves another tier to himself because I think Nick Chubb is a better running back than him, but you add in the pass catching and the dynamics and all the different things, McCaffrey clears the field. Like, it's not a question. Also, if he remains healthy, but we saw a full year from him this year. Elijah Mitchell, quality number 2. Actually, I really don't even think that. I think he's more of a backup. He's really just like, you're fine with him. I think the line, when he was their starter, it was really the line that got him there. But, like, anymore, he's a backup, and that's fine. You know, a good backup. Joe Mixon, I think he's probably a questionable starter at this point because they replace him every year when it comes to crunch time. Samaje Perine took every bit of his playoff reps the 2 years prior to Samaje Perine leaving. And then this year, Chase Brown, the guy with fumble issues, the rookie with fumble issues, takes a spot. A lot of snaps from him at the end of the season as well. I just don't think Mixon is all that great. He can be very good in spurts. You get those, 3 to 5 games a year where he just seems unstoppable. But other than that, he's a questionable starter. Montgomery is a definite starter. He's a solid player. I don't think he's kind of in the middle of these two tiers as well. Him and Connor. You're not like, oh, we got David Montgomery. You're not like just jumping up and down for it, but he's still really good. Nyheim Hines, he's a backup. Raheem Mostert, he is a definite starter, but he fits more in this tier. Like, I guess these are guys that have been around for a while. These are more the young bucks that, like, maybe can grow into it. But these are the guys who, like, you know what you're getting, and they're very solid, but, like, that's it. Najee Harris is a definite starter as well. He's one that's going to be a little controversial. He is the only running back for the last 3 years that has had 1,000 yards. He is third in the league in rushing since 2020 when he came in. He has a lot of stats that are in his favor, and he has dealt with a bad O-line up until this past season. The past season, they were solid-ish. I mean, they were fine, but the 2 years prior, he was with a terrible line. He's a fine player, a top 10 back, I'd say, probably, certainly. Isaiah Pacheco, I think he teeters between this line as well. Talent there is just limited. We saw some issues with him in the playoffs, fumbling and whatnot. He's very good in spurts, but you just got to see more. I think he's proven enough to be a starter, but you're not like, overjoyed by this guy once again. You might be overjoyed by about Najee Harris up, or at least close to it. From Connor down, you're kind of like, all right, we're in a good spot. Not Singletary. That is, Damian Harris. Yep, it's the one from the Texans. I don't know his name right now. I am blanking. Damian. I don't know. He's a starter. That is driving me insane. He's a questionable starter. We've seen him be really good. Dameon Pierce. We've seen him be really, really, really good, but we just haven't seen it be consistent enough, and that's just what it is. Tony Pollard, to me, he's a questionable starter. I was concerned for Dallas going into this season about, is he going to be able to be a true number one running back? And he proved that he wasn't. He's a good pass catcher, but he's nothing more than that. That's where his line ends. This tier really isn't ranked in, like, order. None of them are really ranked in order, except this one. There's kind of a break here. Not to say that it's Bijan, then Kyron, then him, then him. It's these four and these four. You get the point. Brian Robinson, I think he's close to this definite starter tier, but we haven't seen enough from him. Brian Robinson belongs in this tier. He can do more. I think we can see more from him. Their line was pretty bad too, but he looks like he has some upside, so I'll give it to him. Miles Sanders, I almost want to put him in trash for how bad he was this year, but I don't even know how to count that. I just don't know. I'm going to put him... No, he's going in trash. He's going in trash. Who is this? Is that Tyjae Spears? I'm going to assume it's Tyjae Spears. He was really solid, but at this point, I think he's just a quality number 2. He could rise up quickly. I think he will be Tennessee's next starter, but that's projecting. I'm not going to project here. This is a list for what we know now. He is a quality number 2, the upside of that as well. Ramondre Stevenson, I really like. He is a questionable starter, and part of that does go to blame on New England themselves. They just don't have the, like, top-tier running backs ever. Like, they just don't. James White was a good player, but he was rotated in. He was their pass catcher, their down back. Ramondre can be a full-time, all-you-can, feed this guy back, but they just don't use him like that under Belichick. Let's see if they change that. I really like him coming out of the draft with the year he did. We'll see what he can do. DeAndre Swift, I think he teeters between definite starter and very good. He's kind of like, I think he's on pace with these guys. Like, he is really good, and you're glad to have him, but you're just not, like, thrilled with these guys. Jonathan Taylor, to me, he is the back of elite. He didn't play very much this year. I think he missed 8 games, but what he did play, he was really, really good. Outpaced a lot of the guys who, if he would have played the full season, he might have been up there for sure. Then Jalen Warren. That's a tough one. I'm going to put him in quality number 2. I think he is the Thunder to Najee Harris, or the Lightning to Najee Harris's Thunder. I think that's what it is, and if he wasn't in that role, he would be different. It would be a problem. It just is what it is. Rashad White, I'm not a big fan of him. I think he is a fine player, but he's a backup probably. I'm going to put him as a quality number 2. His pass-catching upside does move him to like a questionable starter, so I'll say that. He does have a really good pass-catching upside for sure, but I'm just not like super pumped about him at all. So yeah, I think that's where our tier list will end out. Let me know what you guys think of this list down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it helps my channel out a ton, and I will be doing a jersey giveaway at 1,000 subs. Either way, I'll see y'all in the next video.